Hi everyone, my name's Jeremy. I'm married with 9 children. Not all of them live at home anymore, which is probably a good thing. In my normal working time, I do a lot of bookbinding and a lot of printing. I run a business called DB Print and Bind and DB Bookbinders. But in my past and in my spare time, I like to cook. So today I'm actually can't wait because Ruby, my 8-year-old, has got some dishes lined up that we're going to be cooking today. So
open it up and let everybody know what you've got in there.
Digital easy scales. There's our
scales. So yeah. So I mean, the first step, we would need to put some batteries in there. Did any batteries come with the scales?
No, there's no batteries. Oh, hang on. Oh, look at that.
Batteries came with it. That's awesome.
There's some batteries in there.
I like that Tupperware's decided to use batteries that the average household will have or can easily access, rather than sometimes they have like those little round ones, or I don't even know what they're called.
The watch battery, the very, very small ones. Yeah, it's really quite easy to do. So
nice and easy. Yeah, that's what we want. We want easy to use.
Yeah.
I've got mine here as well, so I can follow along with you.
Oh, cool.
One of the buttons, so the big blue button, that's our on button.
Yep.
So if you push that one, it'll turn it on. Then next to it is actually got like a little, I don't know what that symbol is, like 2 arrows or something. If you push that one, that actually changes the, is it called metrics?
The measurements, it's changed from metric to imperial, yeah.
That's right, yeah. So basically, if you've got like a great-grandma's old recipe, or you found something on the internet from a different country, you don't have to worry about conversion, you don't have to Google search the conversion rates for it. You can just simply switch between that very easily. So basically, to get started with it, you would pop it down on the bench, and you would make sure you press the on button, and it also has the word tear there. I can't even pronounce that word properly. Is that how you say it? Tear? Or tear? I don't know. How do you say it?
Tear or tar, I don't know.
Tar?
I think it's tear.
Yes, I've heard some people say tar. I don't know. Anyway.
I know what you mean. It says T-A-R-E, so it's...
Yeah, the T-A-R-E button. But basically what that does is, if you've placed a bowl on there, so my bowl weighs 205 grams, but I don't want that in my recipe, and I really don't want to do maths on a Saturday, so I'm going to press that button so it resets it back to 0. So now when I measure out some ingredients, it's gonna measure it. So I'll just, for example's sake, for the video, I'll put some flour in here. Say I want 100 grams of flour. I've put it to 0. Now I'll tip in some flour. Yeah, and there we go, 100 grams of flour in there. But then now say I need 20 grams of cocoa, but like, again, I don't want to do maths on a Saturday. So I'm going to press that button again to reset it back to 0, and put in some cocoa, put in some 20 grams of cocoa. There we go. And that way I've been able to measure out my ingredients without having to really think too hard about it, and I can focus more on enjoying the baking rather than stressing about it too much.
And that's such a handy feature, because with the kids, they're not really too au fait with all of the measurements and the exacting, so it's a matter of putting spoons in, and they can watch the numbers go up, and it's perfect. I think Ruby's going to have a lot of fun with this today.
A tip I learned from Pebbles Bakery is actually, it's always good to go slow and go for less than to pour or tip too much in too fast, because you can always add more. It's a lot harder to remove it out. So
a lot harder to take it out. Yeah. Totally agree with that one. You put in too much and you're trying to, it's... it's intimate.
Another cool thing about measuring out your ingredients is it's more accurate than say 1 cup of flour, for example, like 1 cup, are you packing that cup full? At what point is that cup, like, do you scrape it across, or is it like a heaped cup, or like, you know, how much flour is actually in that cup? And how fine was that flour ground? Like, are you using the same type of flour as the person who wrote the recipe? Whereas if you're weighing it, then you're both on the same page. So you're more likely to get the same results as the person who wrote the recipe.
Some of the things that we used to do in the kitchens it was quite exacting. It needed to have exact amounts, certainly with sauces, and just so the flavors wouldn't change significantly. Even to things like with using thickening, and so having the weight rather than a sort of a measurement based on a kind of volume scenario is much more accurate. I think it's really handy, and having the capacity to build your recipe in the bowl, measuring wise, I think that's really, really cool. So
yeah. And I think you also reduce on washing up too, because if you've got like 1.5 cups of this, then you need another 1 cup for something. But I keep inside of my containers a little scoop that belongs in that container.
Yep.
So then all I need to wash up at the end is really the bowl and whatever I'm mixing it with.
Yeah,
so another little care tip with the scales, I would make a recommendation that when you store it, you don't want to store it in a cupboard or a drawer where other things are stored on top. For example, you don't want to leave it sitting like that over a long period of time, because it's going to, I guess, fatigue the scale part of it. So where possible, you don't want it to be pushed against that weighted bit, unless you're actually weighing something, right? So a good suggestion is if you've got cookbooks or something, you can slide it in there next to the other cookbooks. Or maybe you've got a bit in your cupboard, or maybe you've got chopping boards lined up somewhere. Or maybe you've got your containers in the pantry and there's a little space next to the containers, you could slide it. So have a look around where you could sit it upright like this in your kitchen. That would be the ideal. Otherwise, you can store it flat like that and just not put anything else on top, but that takes up a fair bit of space. Yeah. So where possible, I would try and find somewhere to stand it up like that.
And the good thing is it's not super thick, so you're not taking up a lot of space this wise. So, you know, it's in my opinion, you know, one of the Women's Day recipe books, or, you know, those sort of things that you usually find in your cupboard.
And then to clean it up, so I don't know, you can't really see on mine probably on the camera, but there's a few little marks on it. All you would need to do is just get like a little microfiber cloth or something, maybe something that's a little bit damp, and give it a wipe. By no means will this need to have a more thorough wash than that. Like, you don't want to submerge it into water, or it doesn't need to go in the dishwasher.
Yeah. You know, we'll often do, you know, if we're looking for mince, or, you know, for like a shepherd's pie or a mince pie or something, being able to weigh all of that, like up to 5 kilos, is pretty cool. Normally they're usually about 1 or 2. So, you know, that's been my experience with my old broken skulls. I'm not going to bring them out because they're really bad. This is, so, you know, 5 kilos is great.
I use this also for weighing, like if I'm posting a parcel or something. So
I love the little note. That was awesome. You know, it was the first thing you see when you open the box, which is really cool. It says, "To Jeremy, thank you for supporting my business, Jess." I just think it's a really good touch, handwritten and all that. I'm always a fan of that sort of thing. So yeah, that was almost as like wow kind of experience as the scales themselves. So that's cool.
Thanks, Jeremy. I like writing little notes and spoiling those who support my business. So yeah, it's something I like to do. Thanks everyone for watching.